And there's these two thoughts following that I think most Christians just don't even realize they think this way, but they do. And atheists and skeptics like think the other way, and they don't even realize they do. The thought being, what's up guys? So today I wanted to share another thought experiment with you all. Something that I've been thinking about kind of a lot lately, just with conversations with my dad and also conversations with friends, and just wanted to talk about it with you all. So two things about this thought experiment is it's going to be hard for you to think in these terms if one, you don't believe in free will, and two, you don't believe in an afterlife. And actually, I'm planning to do videos, in-depth videos on both of those subjects, just like I went in-depth into the physics of heaven, the actual theoretical physics. I want to do the same thing with free will and the theology of the afterlife. And so those videos are coming, but I wanted to share with you all this thought experiment. And this was inspired by a friend who visited this past weekend. And Rusty, if you're watching this, I'm talking to you. So me and Rusty, we've been best friends for a long time, and we've found ourselves in the same place in our faiths, in our spiritual walks. And so we were talking about that this past weekend when he came back into town, and he posed this thought, this idea that really started his whole journey of doubting, or just his spiritual walk where he is now. The thing that started it all was this thought of, what if there was this group of people that was completely isolated, nobody else knew about them, they were completely unaware of anything outside the world, in the outside world that was going on, and they were completely good people, lived good lives, completely innocent to all of their knowledge, and they were good. But then they died. What would happen to them? Because the thinking is that if they died and they didn't know God, they didn't know Jesus, they didn't know any of that, that they would be sent to hell. And it's hard to imagine, it's hard to think of a loving God doing that to someone who didn't even have a chance to know them, didn't have a chance to even like have that opportunity. So how could a loving God send those people to hell when they just didn't know? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And so I think that's a very important question to ask yourself. And so ask yourself, regardless of what you believe, and especially if you're a Christian, how does that work? And then through conversation with him, I went to led into a conversation that I actually had with my dad, because we've talked about this kind of thing. And something that I've brought up to my mom is, like, in the Old Testament, God of love, commits genocide. And I actually said to my mom, I was like, I don't think he ever killed women and children, but my mom actually corrected me. It says, actually, the Bible says specifically that God killed women and children as well. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, what? How could a loving God do that? Like, these are my issues that I'm facing. Like, how am I going to say that I even have faith in something or believe in something that's so hateful and so violent? So anyway, I'm telling him about these conversations that I'm having, and there's these two thoughts following that I think most Christians just don't even realize they think this way, but they do. And atheists and skeptics like think the other way, and they don't even realize they do. The thought being, one, is that when God killed those people, or when those innocent people in the completely isolated tribe or state that they're living in, that they are unaware of the outside world, that scenario, that when they die, or when God killed them, that they went to hell. And I think that is a implied statement from an atheistic standpoint, and from a Christian standpoint, this is what these are the conversations that I've had with my dad, is that they don't go to hell, that they actually went to heaven. And then with the people over here that were completely unaware of God or Jesus or any of that sort of thing, or anything spiritual, that what if that when they died, they were met by God, and God said, here's who I am, now you have a choice. And it sounds to me more like that would be what a loving God would do, is give you a choice. Now, you might argue that over here, like, those people didn't have a choice to be murdered. When does anyone have a choice to be murdered? When does anyone have a choice when they're going to die? But anyway, that's a totally separate topic. Oh man, okay. I didn't plan on going into that. Okay, I'm not going to go into that, okay? That's a whole separate video. But it still begs the question. I don't know what that means, or if I should put it in that way. All right, good God, get back in your head, Nate. Okay, so going back to these questions of, do you think that we still have free will after we die? Now, again, going back to, like, if you don't believe in free will, then it's going to be hard to participate in this thought experiment. And if you don't believe in an afterlife, it's going to be hard to participate in this. But regardless, do you think that if free will was the thing, that we still have it when we die? I personally, it would make sense if we did, because I think that's just something that, like even the choice to follow God, like, it doesn't make sense to me that when we die, it's like we get this 80-year like testing period and we have free will, and then when we die we don't, and the decision is made for us. I don't think that's right. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I believe, but that doesn't sound right to me. Theologically, spiritually, that doesn't sound right to me. I feel like it would be a right thing, and I mean, just because I think it's right doesn't mean it's true, but I think it would be a right thing, or a true thing, I should say, if we still had free will once we were passed, once we died. And so for me, I think that people might have different ideas about God if, you know, when he killed those people in the Old Testament. I mean, and the justification behind why he did that is also another video. But I think it might change people's mind, because it makes me question things a bit more in a good way of, did those people go to heaven? And did he give those people a choice? And so that's just my thought experiment for today. I'm sure that it's going to stir up a lot of things in the comments, but good, cool, let's talk about it. So let me know what you think about all this down in the comments, and comment, you know, if you believe in free will, if you think we still got it once we die, tell me about it, talk about it. So that's the end of this thought experiment. Kind of open-ended, but again, it's, what do you do with that? I don't know. So yeah, I'm just trying to help you think a little differently, I guess. So again, let me know what you think about this down in the comments. And once again, Tally TV next Thursday. Make sure you watch that video and sign up. And also check out my Patreon account, check out my music. There'll be a snippet of it in the end screen. So yeah, that's it for today, and I will see you misfits in the next one. Peace!